How you doing, guys? Okay, so take my shades off. So just got back from being out and about for a little bit with the missus and the kiddo, and so I got asked to do a record review, or an EP review in this case, for my buddies Justin Gogan and Cujo, who formed a band called Mechanism. Now, Mechanism basically was formed pre-lockdown, during lockdown kind of thing. And as I say, it consisted of Cujo, who was a vocalist of Cavedweller. So this is kind of like a little side project for these two. And of course, Justin Gogan from Elevate the Virus, who was the guitar player. Now, of course, in this record, which they recorded in Justin's basement, basically, he did all the guitars, he did the programming, the mix mastering, and of course, he did some bass tracks, not all the bass tracks. Totally like a basement bedroom kind of thing, and it's still got some pretty good, solid recording quality on this. So it is entitled Upon Discovery, and now, if you know Justin, and I'm sure that you do, from Elevate the Virus, and if you know Cujo, which I'm sure that some of you would, you know there's going to be a couple of the guys from Elevate the Virus on this as well, just because both bands are really, really tight together as in terms of being friends and so on. So Jacob Fink, guitar player for Elevate the Virus, is on 2 songs. He does the solo on Chasing Ghosts, and as well as he plays the bass on A Faceless Name. Now, Adam Binns is the bass player of Elevate the Virus, and he plays the bass on a track called Proceed with Caution. Jake Duffy also does vocals on Eliminate, and Jake essentially does recording and so on in his hometown, which I believe is Fredericton, if I'm not mistaken. Now, so these guys are really hard to sort of describe. But what I did was I reached out to Justin and I said, hey, what would you classify yourself? Because I have a rough idea what I think. And he told me what he presumes would be metalcore, progressive metal, and a healthy dose of thrash elements as well. But there's also enough groove in here to make things, you know, with metal, and you can just kind of nod your head, you can bang your head, you can just kind of plod around at a show or whatever, and still enjoy the music without it being... Not that there's anything wrong with that, because there's nothing. But what these guys are known for and what they typically do, it's kind of a perfect mix of different subgenres into one. Now, everything on here, recording-wise, for the guitars, the bass, and the drums, is really, really well done. And the one thing and especially the bass, is really audible. It almost sounds like there's either a really good pick attack, or somebody was using a dark glass pedal. Because I can hear that real raunchy sort of tone. Now, if it's not a dark glass pedal, it's definitely something, from what I can hear, is that it's definitely something within the program that Justin is using to record, that there's some form of that nasty, gnarly, high-end, gainy, sort of distorted, nasty bass tone. Everything is all audible here, and especially in modern metal, it's like 10,000% what it should be and sound like. He really does have a really good grasp of what he's doing. And the tones that he's getting guitar-wise really shows his progression and how he's able to write songs, write and compose, of course, produce, and just get the proper guitar tones that he's looking for in a modern metal setting. Now, I'm not a producer, and I'm not overly that smart when it comes to production. I know what it's good I know what good production sounds like, but to eloquently talk about it like everybody else can, that's a different story. I just know that what I hear sounds great, tones are great, drums are solid, and the bass sounds badass. Now, Cujo, vocally, it is all over the place. Now, before we sit here and go, wow, Cujo's one of the best vocalists I've ever heard, I didn't say he wasn't. I didn't say he wasn't. What I am saying, though, he is all over the place. There's lows, gutturals, there's highs, there's some shriekiness to his voice. With the style of music they are, sorry guys, it's been a long day. The simple fact of what they do, he takes all these vocal styles and blends it into this melding pot to get what we call, or what I call, the Cujo vocal. It's basically taking every single thing and rolling it into one, but still having it sound good in each different section that he does it in. If you ask me, I would personally love to see this kid in a professional studio, and I'm not ripping on Justin's ability to record this, but with what Cujo has for vocal talent, I would love to see him go into, like a higher end studio and say, do your thing and see what they can come up with, because I think that would be cool, just as sort of a side note to his vocal talent, because he's got some good pipes on him. Now, if what you're looking at, obviously, for some new local stuff, is the metalcore, is pretty much like a metalcore band with healthy dose of thrash, healthy dose of prog metal, then this is an excellent EP to get a hold of. You really need to get it. It's not out yet. It's coming out July 7th, so that'll be out on Wednesday. You need to pick that up, and then once it's out, it's going to hit YouTube. It's going to hit all the majors, and before you know it, this thing is going to go up there. People are going to love it, because without a doubt, it's just an absolutely fantastic EP. You really should check this out. It's a monster of an EP, and I can't wait to hear more coming from these guys, because it's going to be pretty fucking solid. It definitely deserves many a good listen, because you can't just put it on in the background, because you're going to miss stuff. And I know I did on the first few times that I listened to, but every time I would listen, there was something that's like, oh, I didn't hear that before. I didn't hear that before. I didn't hear that before. This is definitely getting a solid 4 out of 5 for this review. So thank you so very much for checking this out, guys, and I really appreciate it. And I'm hoping to have another video out soon for the VC guys. Thanks. Cheers. Check this out, July 7th. Mechanism upon discovery.